that as far as Indians are concerned, they have come here to make money, not to know God. So they are not interested in it. And the other people here, they won't listen to you. They'll come to your program and go away. I said, why? Because you cannot pin them down without you get some money out of them. I said, how much are they going to pay me? He said, whatever it is. You must understand their psychology. If you do not take any money from them, they won't be bothered. You see, he told me an American psychology, which was really very shocking. He said that they talk like this, I have paid for it. If they have paid for it, then whatever it is they have paid for it, they'll go through it. Otherwise they will not go through it. And it was too much for me. I said, I can't believe. How can that? There are true seekers in this world. Those who are truthful seekers will understand that you cannot pay for what you have already given yourself. And this is what one has to realize, that God has built you up in such a fashion that everything is within. You have got your spirit in your heart, as I told you before, and then you have got that vital force or that divine force within you, which is called as Kundalini, the true desire with God. This is the true desire. The rest of them, as I told you, are not true desires because they do not give you satisfaction. So this is the true desire within you, which has to work it out, and when it works out, you become yourself. Means you know what powers you have and you can manifest your own power. It seems very fantastic to hear that we have all these powers within us, that we can cure ourselves, we can cure others, we can cure our mental problems, we can cure others' mental problems, we can solve many problems of money and other nonsensical things about which we are worried. Our priorities change, we become transformed, and we become collectively conscious, so we can treat others and we can know about others. Seems to be very fantastic. But as I told you, that you are made into this beautiful body with great care and love in such a beautiful way as shown there. Now all these centers exist in you. You need not take me for granted, I told you, but they exist. And when the Kundalini rises, she passes through all these various centers and enlightens them and nourishes you. It's a fact that this knowledge was known to Indians, great seers of Indians, thousands of years back. But we had three types of practices in our country. The first one was where people were in devotion to God. They wanted help from God, and they thought that by praying to God, by dedicating themselves to God, they will be able to achieve the advent of God. So they were praying for the advent of God. That was one-sided, left-sided people, as we can call it, who worship. The right-sided people are the people who thought that it is better to excite and awaken the different elements by which we can be benefited. And that's how they try to do yajnas. Yajnas means a kind of a ritual by which you can excite or you can use the power of the elements. And that's how they did a lot of rituals by which they tried to overpower, and they had reached a quite a lot of development long time back. About, they say that in India we had aeroplanes, pilotless aeroplanes, when it was about 8,000 years back. So whether you believe it or not, but they tried to do it through this method of exciting or knowing the subtle side of the elements and how to use them for their own purpose. And the third side, the central side, was where people tried to find out the roots of everything. They tried to find out why we are here, why God has created us, and what does He want us to do. Why should we live on this world like this? Because they realize that this is not the ultimate. We have not found the absolute. And such people meditated. Through their meditative approach, they reached certain heights, they found out certain secrets about ourselves, and they described all these chakras that I am describing to you 14,000 years back. It's nothing new that I am telling you. Only thing I am giving it a modern connection. That all these subtle centers exist within us. And they manifest outside all the known plexuses and the ductless glands. For example, yesterday I was telling you about the Navi chakra. This one manifests the stress. We have the pelvic plexus, and then we have the aortic plexus, and then the solar plexus, then cardiac plexus, and here we have the cervical plexus, and here at the optic chiasma we have got a very subtle center which we call as Agya chakra, which controls the pituitary and the pineal and is placed on the optic chiasma in the cross of that. So this is the center, and the limbic area, which doctors know about, is the one which is enclosed by the ego and superego of human beings. That's how we have all the picture. This is the tree of life. Now the tree of life is ready, only thing it is to be nourished. And for that nourishment, this kundalini is placed there. I'm sorry, you can't see. And this kundalini is nothing else but is the Aquarius within. That's why it is called as the age of the Aquarius. Many people don't know why it is called the age of the Aquarius. Aquarius means the water carrier. And this is the one that is the water carrier within us, the sacrum, the sacred bone, in which this power is there, and this power is your mother. And when she nourishes, you solve all this problem that I told you, you solve your spiritual problem, and ultimately you become one with your spirit. It is a very simple thing, because nature does everything in a very simple way. As I told you yesterday, if you have to sprout a seed, you just put it in the Mother Earth. What do? Nothing else. Mother Earth has got the capacity. In the same way, when this has to rise, it has to rise spontaneously. Now the idea you must clean yourself, you must do this and that and all kinds of things is also not necessary. Because when you are, say, sitting in your car, you have to get out of it to correct it. So first, you get out of it. Not only that, but you get the light to see what's wrong with you. In that light, you understand what's wrong with you. You correct yourself. So nobody has to tell you. You correct yourself. And by correcting that, what do you get? You get an absolute being within yourself, which is the spirit. So now the time has come for you to get integration. The complete synthesis of all the religions has to come place. But it's not a mental projection, again I would say. It's not a mental projection, I should say, that all religions are one. Nobody is going to understand that. It's nonsense. Because people say, how if all religions are the same, why are they fighting with each other? They are having wars, they had wars, they are having wars, they'll have wars. So how is it possible that all these religions are coming from one tree? They are flowers of one tree. How can one? That is to be seen if it is so or not. And when it happens, you automatically realize that all of them belong to the same tree of life. And these different destinations that we see actually are not destinations, but are milestones in our lifetime by which we rise. Now many people have a habit that they stuck on to each other. For example, those who are Hindus will just believe in Krishna and nobody else. Krishna is just here. He came 6,000 years back, he is here. Then some will believe only in Rama, Rama is just here. Or some will believe only in Christ. Now Christ is just here. He is the gate, all right, but he is not the destination. So what is the destination? Is the limbic area. You have to enter into the kingdom of God, he said it. He always talked of the future. He said, you have to enter into the kingdom of God. Holy Ghost has to come. He said that you are to get somebody who will counsel you, who will redeem you, who will comfort you. And that is the Holy Ghost. Of course, he did not say that it's a lady, because he thought that if I say it's a mother, then they will be all towards his mother, attack her. And he didn't want to do that, to lose all the drama of crucifixion. So he didn't say that it was my mother who is one of the powers of God, but he just kept quiet about it. But as I said this afternoon, that it is impossible to understand how people rationalize that there is a Holy Ghost, there is a Father, and there is a Son, and no mother. It's an impossible. And you can understand it clearly, that there has to be a mother who has to come up and nourish. Now Jung, who was a philosopher who opposed Freud, said it very clearly, that it is the mother who is going to nourish us. He even took the name of Kundalini. He studied up to that point. But the mistake was that when he tried to talk about it, his knowledge was that of a person who has jumped on the stage suddenly. And he is trying to know about the stage. So it can be mistaken also. And he got quite confused because he said that to get to the unconscious, you have to pass to the subconscious. And the other day I explained to you that there are 4 areas of unconscious. Means 4 areas from which we do not get any messages. We are unconscious of it because we don't feel it on the central nervous system. Now these 4 areas I have told you before, I'll again repeat them. On the left hand side, as you see of the person, on this side means facing, you should see the left hand is this side, but the hand is like that. Is the blue line, as you see, is called as the Ida channel, which gives the manifestation in the growth of the left sympathetic nervous system, which looks after our emotions. And beyond that is the subconscious and the collective subconscious. On the right hand side, when we think of the future too much, plan for the future too much, then we enter into an area called supraconscious and into the collective supraconscious. Now down below, as you see, there is hell, the collective hell. We live in hell and we have collective hell also. Above, on top of your head, is the superconsciousness, which is unconscious. Just now you do not feel it on your central nervous system, so it is unconscious. To make it conscious, what we have to do is to bring into your consciousness, onto your central nervous system, the existence of your spirit. Once that light comes in your consciousness, in your attention, then you start feeling the all-pervading power, the subtle power, which does all the living things, like creating the flowers, creating the fruits out of the flowers. Every sort of a living work is done by that all-pervading power. Now for that, what can you pay? What can you pay? That's one thing. One should understand that you cannot pay for all these things. This is your own. It is within you. I am paid for it already. You can think like that. And it is within you. The whole power is within you. You have to just get to it. Now, I do not want to criticize any religious bodies as such, but they are doing all the upside down things. You can see for yourself. You will be amazed in London, people are selling the churches and they are having their pubs. I mean, after some time, you may start something of the same kind. So, what is the reason? Now, not only that, but in Indian temples, same thing happening. In the mosque, same thing happening. In all other religious things, the same thing is happening. Jews are having the same problem. Unless and until you are a fanatic, nobody is bothered about it. But fanaticism is a disease because they believe in one center or one part of it. I'll give an example. I met a gentleman who came from Iran about 10 years back to see me. He was a doctor and he was suffering from stomach cancer. And somebody told him in India that I may be able to help him. So he came down. He came to London to see me. And when he came to London, he asked me, "Mother, can you cure me?" I said, "I can, but you have a disease." He said, "What disease?" I said, "You are a fanatic." He said, "No." I said, "Do you believe that it is only Muhammad Sahib is the one for you?" He said, "Yes, of course. I do not believe in anybody else." I believe. Are you recording or not? Is there a problem? What's the problem?
It was just touching the stand, so electrical interference.
I don't understand. I just understand the communication. I don't understand these connections. I must tell you, I'm absolutely ignorant about things, Is it all right now? So I told him that, see now, if you believe that it is only Muhammad Sahib, I cannot clear you of your problems. So he said, then what do you want me to say? I said, you have to say that Muhammad Sahib was one of the incarnations of the primordial master, and there are many others who came on this earth. For example, Abraham, Moses, and some people in India like Raja Janaka, Nanaka, all of them were the incarnation of the same. They said, this I cannot say. I said, all right, then go ahead. I cannot cure you either. If you are obstinate about it, you go on. Because if you believe in only one person like Muhammad Sahib, it is Muhammad Sahib who is angry. Take it from. Because he cannot understand this kind of a stupidity. He never did that. What he said was that all of them were prophets and they have come on this earth. Only he said that I am the seal. Seal doesn't mean that I have sealed them off. It doesn't mean I am a seal. Means I am one of the samples of that. I am one of the symbols of that. And that's what he said. And they said, he's the seal now, nobody can come. How can it be? When he himself has talked about the resurrection time, that the resurrection time will come when your hands will speak and there is asas. He calls the kundalini as asas. And that resides in the triangular bone, all these things he says. He talks of the resurrection day, all these things he talks. And how can you say that Muhammad Sahib didn't talk about these things? He did very well, but people don't want to have that. They don't want to listen to it. They don't want to understand it because they want to use him for their own purposes. When they want to use for their own purposes, they have their own concept about Muhammad Sahib, about Christ, about Krishna, about Rama, about everyone. They have their own concept and they want to live with that concept. They do not want to get out of it because it's beyond. It is beyond them to get out of those concepts because they are bound by their ego. Ego is one of the greatest myths we are carrying with, and it makes you absolutely stupid. It's the most stupid thing, that is ego. Ego is a thing which tells you that we do this and we do that. We don't do anything whatsoever. What do? Supposing a tree is dead, all right, you make it into a bench or a chair or anything. Can you make a flower into a fruit? Even one. You cannot. So what do? It's only stones and it's dead wood and all that. You play with it. What living work have you done? Nothing. Nothing. Then what do? Except for making a chair for yourself or something sort of a comfort by which you become absolutely a lethargic person. If you make a chair, you cannot sit on the ground. If you make a bed, you cannot sleep on the ground. You become a slave of this matter. Gradually start becoming greater slave, and ultimately you think, oh, you are the lord of all the matter. But the matter is ruling you. Suppose the electricity goes away, what will happen to us? Supposing we don't get any petrol suddenly, everybody will live off. Imagine, one day electricity went off in New York, and what happened? So how much we are dependent on the matter now, not on our spirit. And that is the trouble with us, that we have to depend on our spirit and on that great power of God who has created us, who is the one who has done all this living work and who is going to do greater living work. We have to depend on that greater force of life, that higher force of life, and we have to say that, oh Lord, please give us that what we deserve. And you'll be amazed how anxious he is to give you that great thing, to give you that benediction. That is your right to have it. Sahaja means that. Sahaja means it is born with you. It's your birthright to get realized. It's your birthright. You have to have it. But how many want to be realized? They want to belong to some group. See, they belong to this group or that group or that group. I don't know what people get by clubbing themselves like this, which is artificial clubbing, I have got in England all kinds of clubs, and I am sometimes surprised the way they have clubs about, like the people who hold their forks in the left hand and the knife on the right hand are one club, and those who hold the other way around are another club. It's stupid. Such a wastage of time. They have conferences, meetings of the group. People are coming all the way from Australia, from Japan, this, that. Big programs are there. And what do you come out of our club activity? What is there to club? And this clubbing itself shows in every walk of life that we try to club under the name of something nonsensical or something that is hatred. When we hate others, then we club together better. Like we have to hate this type of people, hate that type of people, or this type of people are bad, we have to aggress these people, or we have to protect ourselves from these people. It's always a hatred, a kind of a fear, all the time working. While God has created you all beautifully together. Of course, there is variety. Variety has to be there. Without variety, you would look so horrid. I mean, imagine everybody looking just the same. You would not know who is a lady or a gentleman. It happens these days, very common. My experience has been terrific this time. In program, I called some gentleman as a lady and he gets angry. He said, "Mother, no, I am a man." I said, "Really? I'm sorry. I couldn't make out. You see, the way you are walking, the way you are dressed, I just thought that you must be a lady. But what can I do?" So, as human beings, He has made us men and women and children and everything to create the mood of variety. And that mood of variety gives us a special attribute as human beings. Animals do not have so much variety. Only the human beings have so much variety. And the craziness also that we have is our speciality. Like animals will never create an atom bomb to kill themselves. They cannot. I mean, thank God they cannot. But we human beings can do such absurd thing as to make a bomb just to kill ourselves or to kill others who are our kith and kin. So this is what it is we have now reached a very precarious stage where everyone knows, God knows what's going to happen. Everybody is frightened. At this time, we have to know that as soon as we are transformed, we are looked after by that divine power. Krishna has said, Yoga Kshema Vahamyaham. When yoga takes place, then I look after your well-being. Kshema is well-being. So first the yoga has to take place. It is not before yoga. Many people think, oh, we believe in God. Oh, we used to go to the church. We used to go to the temple. We always would worship Krishna, everything. And we never got any benefit. So one should ask that where you connected with. If you are not connected with God, if you are not one with God, how will you get anything that is your due? So first thing is yoga, is to become one with the divine. Establish the connection. And that's the most important. Many people ask me, what about Hatha Yoga? In Hatha Yoga there are Ashtangas, there are eightfold, out of which the main thing is Ishvara Pranidhana. Ishvara Pranidhana is that you establish yourself in such a way that the God is established within you. Means first is self-realization. Then you know, and it is logical, that once you know your Kundalini has started moving, you will know which center it is catching and what kind of an exercise you have to do, what kind of dharana, means what kind of meditation you have to do, what mantras you have to say. Unless and until the Kundalini is moving, how will you know what chakra it is catching? And that is why it is essential that first Kundalini should be awakened. Once the Kundalini is awakened, you start feeling her movement, you start feeling your chakras, you start understanding all the blocks you have, you start understanding what problems others have. If you know how to cure them, if you know how to put them right, you can make the Kundalini rise straight. And then once it comes out, then you establish it. You have to establish it. And once it is established, then only you can feel that you are absolutely there. So the first power you get is of thoughtless awareness, which is called in Sanskrit as Nirvichar Samadhi. It used to take ages in those days to establish even Nirvichar Samadhi. But I must be something, the way I am doing it so fast, it's like a jet. The Kundalini rises just like a jet. So there must be something about me. But I am not going to tell you anything about myself. It's better that you know yourself first and then you ask about me. It's much safer for you and much safer for me also. So, when the Kundalini rises, she comes up through this center of Agya, and when it crosses through, that time you become thoughtlessly aware. Then your attention is stationed. There is no thought in between. Like a thought rises and falls off, another thought rises and falls off. You can see the rising of the thought, but falling you don't see. In between these two thoughts there's a space, and that is the space which is the present. When the Kundalini rises, what she does, she makes this thought weak or elongated. By that, there is a space that increases and you station yourself in the present. You become thoughtlessly aware. Again I say you are aware, but you are thoughtless and you can watch your thoughts. If you want to, you can create your thoughts if you want to. That's the first stage of Kundalini awakening. But when she crosses up here, and she comes out and you start feeling the cool breeze in your head, then I should say that you have got your self-realization in the sense, now an egg has become a bird. But still, there are many things of the egg still sticking on, as every bird has to throw away the shell properly to come out, or the mother has to work hard to throw it out. And once that is taken away, then its complete cleansing has to take place till the bird is ready to fly. Then the bird is afraid still to fly. And it spreads its wings here and there, but it doesn't fly. So the mother bird hides herself and calls the little ones. After some time, the bird spreads the wings, goes up, flies up to a point. Again, it thinks it is falling down, it falls. Again it rises, again it falls. Ultimately, it achieves that state where it starts flying very well, straight forward. And when that is achieved, that state we call as doubtless awareness, called as Nirvikalpa Samadhi. But in the olden times, these were divided into two. First was Savichar Samadhi, the second was Nirvichar Samadhi. Means first, the Samadhi means the enlightened mind. So first the enlightened mind with the thoughts in. The second one was the thoughtless enlightened mind. Third one was, as it should be only Nirvichar Samadhi, but it was not so. It should be Nirvikalpa Samadhi, means doubtless awareness. They would have an enlightened mind still with doubts. And then the fourth one, they used to say that enlightened mind which has no doubts of any kind, is beyond doubts. But with all these four stages, you get different powers within yourself by which you start manifesting the power of raising the Kundalini also. Now this is the thing one has to understand, that some people move slowly, some people move just like a jet. Some people move slowly and steadily and establish themselves. Some people move like a jet and establish themselves. Some people move like a jet can falter. Some people move slowly, steadily and go on falling up and down, up and down, up and down. The reason is you have many problems which you face after realization. One of them is your health. If you have physical problem, that shows immediately. You start seeing the physical problem within yourself, you start curing yourself, and once the physical problem is handled, then you want that your emotional problem should be handled. So you come to the emotional problem, you start solving your emotional problems, then you go to a higher thing where your intellectual problems, where the doubts start coming in. And that is the intellectual problem you start solving. Once you solve your intellectual problems like this, like we had Gavin Brown who was here, first time he got his realization, he's an intellectual. Very well read man, he knows all about it. Today that lady asked me about some, which I have never read. You say, I don't read books, I have no time to read books. You say, I'm reading human beings only. And she asked me about some book, so I said, I don't read that book. And they told me it's about the doomsday gentleman has talked, because you have read all about it. I'm talking about the resurrection days. So now, when he got realization, he said, Mother, you told us that you have got telecommunication and you can feel the other people. I have not had any information from my father. I want to know how he is. I said, all right, put your hands towards your father and just think of him. And then he told me that there's a piercing pain here. What does that mean? I said, see, these are the centers of your father. And this finger relates to this. And if it is so piercing, he must be down with bad bronchitis. So he said, really? I said, yes. I said, all right, you telephone to your father and find out. He telephoned, his mother came on the phone, and she said exactly the same sentence. Your father is down with very bad bronchitis. So he was amazed. And then he was convinced. And that's how gradually he saw it works. It's fantastic, but it does happen. So the doubt started disappearing. So then he rose to the position of doubtless awareness. But it is not a mental activity. It is a growth within you. When that growth takes place, then you have a great power that you can give realization to others. With the movement of your hand, you can give realization. You can see what's happening to others on your fingertips. And you feel completely blissful, absolutely at ease. At that point of peace where nothing can disturb, you are in your fortress. You are just sitting there and watching the whole world like a drama. It's a big joke. You witness the whole thing as just some sort of a play going on. And that is the state which comes to you, which establishes itself, and you become that. Then you are no more perturbed or upset with anything. As it is, you are blessed physically, mentally, emotionally, materially, in every way. But you don't become Mr. Ford, because that's a headache. Satisfied, and your problems of material well-being are solved. Here we have somebody sitting there who had material problems, terrible material problems. And he came from India here, and he was very upset. He happens to meet me, he knew me very well. Otherwise, as my husband was the chairman of Shipping Corporation, he knew me. But he didn't know that I was also this. So you have a double life. So he just met me, and I told him that you have a problem with your financial things. He said, yes, how do you know? I said, I know because your center is catching on the right-hand side. And if the Navi center is catching on the right-hand side and left-hand side, definitely you must have material problems. So he said, that's true. I said, all right. I gave him realization. I just checked his Navi chakra, and you'll be amazed to know he started doing very well. Now he's a happy man. He's a satisfied man. He's got his family here. He's a very happy person. It works out. So this works out in many ways, and that's how you start understanding it is in doubtless awareness. For this, in the Hatha Yoga of Patanjali, it is called as Ritambhara Pragya. Ritambhara Pragya. Ritambhara Pragya means the knowledge of that power of Mother Earth which fills it up with all the seasons. You'll be amazed how you are helped. You will be so much surprised how things work out. You don't have to worry about it. Everything works out so smoothly that you are as if there's a red carpet for you and you are going on a magical carpet somewhere. All kinds of problems get solved, and you are amazed, you are on top of all these things, and you can help others also. A person who is a Sahaja of a high value, if he enters in a house, it becomes auspicious. The person gets all the blessings of the auspiciousness. I have seen people who have reported to me that a such and such person came to our house, and since that day, Mother, my wife got cured, my son got cured, everything became so much better. We are much better people. We had lost all money in the business, but we are doing very well now. So many people write to me. Recently I received a letter. There's a lady who is a widow, and somebody wrote to me, a wife of a gentleman called Mr. Dalvi, that Mother, your daughter such and such has cured my husband of his cancer. He was about to die. He had galloping cancer, and now I am a lucky woman to have my husband back at home. So these things happen. So many such things can happen because you are a powerful thing. You must just have the power to feel yourself. That's all. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, I cannot help it, but gradually it can be helped. That's why you have to come to the center, because it's a collective work. Now the time has come for us to work it out collectively. You cannot just sit at home, oh, I've got Mother's photograph, everything's all right. No. You all have to meet together, understand each other's difficulties. It works much better. Supposing one person has a strong say Nabi chakra, another has got a strong heart chakra. So when they meet, they supply the energy which is needed by integration, and that is what has to happen. At the last center, you have all the 7 centers placed, all the 7 centers. And when the Kundalini rises in that area, then all the integration of these 7 centers takes place. That's how you become an integrated personality. Whatever you do it sincerely. You do not have a mind somewhere, you don't want to do it, but you have to do it because rationally it is good, it will fetch more money. Nothing of that. You do it because it is absolute, because you think that is the thing you have to do. And that's how you get the courage to stand up against all nonsense that talks of disintegration, talks of hatred, talks of wars. And you become such a powerful personality that all those who come in contact with you also have that peace within themselves. They feel that peace and they also rise to that. We have to have so many people like that on this earth to change this world. And I'm sure one day will come when it will work out. Television is discovered only for Sahaja Yoga. Because in television, if they had allowed me to ask you to put your hands towards me, I could have given you realization then, possibly. So this what you call camera is also for Sahaja. There are many photographs of mine which you will see. See this one. It's amazing. I was sitting in a school, in a village school, just an ordinary school outside, in a very small little school, and talking to people. And suddenly the rays of light started coming on me. Of course, I told them that the place where a great saint had lived. 7 times the light came on me. I knew that. Nobody knew that there was light coming. But then I put my hand, I said, but that's all right. I laughed and I said, no, but that's all right. And at that time, the heat stopped. But some lady was taking photographs. She took 7 photographs of all those 7 poses. And one of them is here. But that one is not here where I stopped it also. It's a very nice photograph of that. So this camera is doing so much justice to Sahaja. It is catching all that you cannot see. And that is why I would say all modern science is for this communication to the whole world of the message that you all have to become the spirit. That is the achievement that we have to have. Otherwise, all the rest of it is absolutely useless. Absolutely useless. And when today that Indian gentleman told me that Indians will never come for God because they are only interested in money when they come here, and the rest of them won't come to you because you have to ask them to pay some money for you, I was really very much disappointed. And I said, is this the level of human beings? I don't think it is so. I hope so it is not so, that people just don't care for money. Money is nothing. What is it? It is the dust of the feet of the Lord. It is nothing. It's nothing important. But by telling all these things, it doesn't work out. Once you get your realization, automatically you will become so detached about money, though living in the same. Because I live now, because I'm married to a man who is well-to-do in a big position. I live according to what he wants me to live in that position. But from inside, I'm absolutely detached. In the same way, it will happen to you. You won't be involved with the thing. Only thing, the matter has one value, that you can give it to others, that you can express your love for others. Today I was shopping, buying presents for friends and things, Sahaja Yogis, where the children are, what to give them. That's the big attraction for me, that I should buy some presents for them. And this is the thing one has to achieve. There's nothing else out of this matter you can get, except for this joy of pleasure that you give some things. In the same way, people give to God also something, like they'll give a flower. Flower is the best thing you can give. But when you start talking of money, I don't know what to do. I feel like vomiting. My stomach goes into funny condition. I just don't know how to tell you that it is an insult to think in the term of human beings about God. God doesn't understand money at all. Not at all. So please try to understand that even if you have not paid the money, it doesn't matter. It's your right to have your realization. This is the greatest wealth that you have. Today you have your realization, or yesterday you must have had. You must see to it, pursue it, be serious about it. You should not be shallow people. You should not be shallow at that. at all. That you today receive your realization and tomorrow you forget about it and do nothing about it. It will be the worst thing, because when the seed is sprouted, it has to become the tree. Otherwise, it is absolutely ruined. So it is important that when you get your realization, you look after yourself, go deeper into it. You can meet here. We have a center. I'm leaving some people here for you to talk to who are very senior people. They'll tell you all about Sahaja Yoga, about yourself, about your problems. May God bless you. As Gavin has told you, that today I have to go today because tomorrow they have fixed a program at 7 o'clock in the morning in Los Angeles. So I'm sorry I have to leave today. I hope you will be able to achieve what I have told you. I would just now go in for a little program of self-realization. Of course, I do not promise. If it works out, nothing left. If it doesn't work out also, nobody should be disappointed. And one should be contented that it will happen. If not today, it will happen tomorrow. Yesterday, so many people felt it, and also today, you should feel it. Now, if you have any questions, you should ask. What's the time, Nick? You just put your hands towards me like this and close your eyes. Just put your hands, both the hands towards me like this and close your eyes. Put your hands on your lap so that you are comfortable. First thing is you have to be comfortable. Put both the feet down, parallel, away, little bit away from each other. Because there are problems on the left, sometimes problems on the right, and if they are little away, it's easy to handle. Now the left hand, as I said, is the hand by which you desire. It's the hand of desire, expressing the power of desire. So keep the left hand straight towards me like this, that the desire is to become one with the divine. Now the right hand, you have to use it to raise your kundalini. First of all, you have to put your right hand on the heart. Close your eyes. Please close your eyes. At the very outset, I have to tell you again that don't feel guilty. Please don't feel guilty. You are in the present. Forget the past. Forget the past. You are in the present. Just now you forget what you have done, what wrong you have committed. Just forget it. And now you have to say, with full confidence within yourself, you can ask a question to me, addressing me as Mother if you like, or as Shri Mataji. Mother, am I the spirit? Ask the question thrice. If you are an Indian, then ask a question. क्या मैं आत्मा हूँ? माँ, क्या मैं आत्मा हूँ? Sincere. Now, put this right hand, keep the left hand as it is, don't open your eyes. Put the right hand on the stomach, on the left hand side. This is the center of the primordial master. And your principle of mastery has to be awakened. We call it as Guru Tara. Now, put your hand there and press it hard. At this point, you have to assert. Because if you are the spirit, you are your own master. So please say, Mother, I am my own master. Say it 10 times. With full confidence. Don't feel guilty by saying that. You are the spirit. Spirit is quite intact. It never gets spoiled. It never ruins. It never does any harm. It's there, all intact. Just say, Mother, I am my own Guru. I am my own master. Please say 10 times, because this center has got 10 petals. Now raise the right hand on the heart again. Press it a little bit. At this point, you have to assert now 12 times, saying that Mother, I am the Spirit. I am the Spirit. Which you are, no doubt. You have to just assert it. Now raise this hand higher at the base of your neck, on the left hand side, on the shoulder. Don't open your eyes, please. At this point, you have to say, Mother, I am not guilty. Please say it 16 times. Push it on the shoulder. Raise it higher, push it on the shoulder. And hold it tight at the base of your neck. Mother, I am not guilty. Now raise your right hand higher onto the forehead. Put your palm across your forehead, across. At this point, you have to say that, Mother, I forgive everyone. Really say that. Without questioning, please say, Mother, I forgive everyone. Now only you can say, without feeling guilty, that if I have done anything wrong, please, O Lord, forgive me. Anything wrong, if I have done, knowingly, unknowingly, please forgive me. For this you have to put back your hand on the back side of your head. Please say, but don't feel guilty. Please don't feel guilty. Without feeling guilty, you have to say that if I have done anything wrong, please, O Lord, forgive me. Now put right hand on top of your head and try to press it and move it clockwise a little bit on top of your head where you had a soft bone in childhood. Press it hard. At this point, I cannot force your freedom. So you have to say that you want your realization. You just say, Mother, I want my realization. Please give me my realization. Say it 7 times, please. Now raise your hand and see if there's a cool breeze coming out. You can change over and see with another on top of your head. Is there a cool breeze coming out? Put the right hand towards me as you have put the left hand. Right hand towards me now and put your left hand up and see. There. See, are you there? Change over. You can change over. Now put the right hand. There. Now again you can change hand and see if it is there.